Right-wing activist, and this is from Fox News, mind you. Right-wing activist accused of orchestrating false sexual assault allegations against Pete Buttigieg. You probably saw this yesterday. A pair of notorious right-wing activists are facing accusations of orchestrating a plan for a man to falsely claim he was sexually assaulted by Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg. Two activists, lobbyist Jack Berman and blogger Jacob Wall, have been involved in pushing conspiracy theories and inflammatory accusations against others in the past. We've covered some of their shenanigans in the past. So everything began Monday when a post surfaced on the website Medium. This author identified himself as 21-year-old Hunter Kelly. The post accused Pete Buttigieg of sexually assaulting him in February. But by the end of the day, the story began to unravel. A man named Hunter Kelly, the name of the supposed author of the Medium post, wrote on Facebook that he was not sexually assaulted and would never falsely accuse anyone. So here's this Facebook post. I was not sexually assaulted. It's important for everyone to know that I was not sexually assaulted and would never falsely accuse anyone. To keep it brief for now, I was approached by a political figure to come to D.C. to discuss political situations from the standpoint of a gay Republican. When I arrived, they discussed Peter Buttigieg and started talking about how they would be working a campaign against him. I went to bed and woke up to a fake Twitter at @RealHunterKelly and I guess that Medium post. So this person had no idea this was happening. Kelly told the Daily Beast of the allegations that were posted on Medium under his name. I was unaware of this was happening. And at some point, the original Medium post was removed from the website. So the people involved here are notorious for doing stuff like this. And what's really bothersome here, and I tweeted this out, now valid criticisms of Pete Buttigieg, and there are many. He stands for nothing. He's a blank suit. He's another corporatist. He has no policy ideas. He's already bashing Bernie. He's going to meetings to bash Bernie more. Now real criticisms of him are going to be overlooked and written off as conspiracy theories. That's what we have to worry about now. Now we have to worry that any valid criticisms of him, and there are many, and he is not a good candidate, he would lose to Trump. So now valid criticism of him, you run the risk of them being written off. Oh, you're pushing a conspiracy theory. Now, hopefully, this is just going to die off pretty quickly because this did not last long, this whole scandal. It was a very short-lived thing. I saw it pop up on social media. I went to click the Medium article. It was already gone. And there was already some stuff out there kind of debunking this, saying it was a ridiculous thing. So it was a short-lived thing. So hopefully it'll just kind of go away pretty quickly. And the reason I say that is not because I'm a Pete Buttigieg fan. I'm not. I think he'd be a horrible president. I'm saying this because I don't want valid criticisms of him to now be written off and smeared and just kind of lumped in with these right-wing propagandists. That's what you got to worry about in situations like this. That, well, now if you criticize the guy and it's a valid criticism, you're going to be written off. You're going to be called a conspiracy theorist. You're going to be called some right-wing propagandist. When in reality, you're actually criticizing him as a lefty. And even The Onion's taking digs at the fact that this guy doesn't have any policy ideas. I mean, The Onion put out an article. It was actually a really funny article, and it was saying how he changed the topic of his town hall to get away from politics. So that's the scandal involving Pete Buttigieg. The people involved are notorious. They've been notorious multiple times. We've covered some of their past shenanigans on this show and other shows that I'm involved with. So this seems like just a smear attempt. And you know, I got to say, one of the things I mentioned on Twitter, this is just another one of those, for instances, where you get to the point where you just go, our election cycle should be 6 weeks long, and this is a big and this is the more important thing, completely publicly funded. We have this ridiculous horse race where election season never really ends in the United States. It never, when you factor in midterms, it never really ends. It just keeps going. And, you know, there's that famous Charles Bukowski quote, our election season goes on forever, and it's the time where one party is trying to tell you why the other party is not fit to rule. And that's one of the few times where they're actually telling you the truth, when they're telling you why the other one is unfit to be in office. Funny quote. It's a paraphrase of, I believe, a Charles Bukowski quote. But very true. You know, and this is coming from someone, keep in mind, this is coming from someone who works in the realm of political comedy and news. You know, that's like my wheelhouse. So these long election seasons are, quote, good for business. That's just the reality. That's just me being 100% honest and upfront with you. But despite that, I would still rather live in a more respectable pseudo-democratic experiment. I would rather live in a more respectable system where we have more than two parties, where we have actual choices on the ballot that aren't just fringe right or center right, where we have real left-wing politicians and policies, and publicly funded elections, a shorter election season. That would all foster that big time. You know, I mean, Canada, their election seasons are grossly shorter than ours, and they have 5 political parties. The UK election seasons are way shorter than ours. So yeah, I'd rather have that than this ridiculous horse race that we have here in this country. There's never going to be, I mean, believe me, in my wheelhouse, there's always going to be plenty of stuff to talk about. We're never going to run out of stuff to talk about. So a shorter election season would be fantastic. And I just think it's time. And this ridiculous stuff like this is just another argument in favor of that. That, you know what, it's time for an election season that isn't just absolutely absurd and ridiculous. It just keeps going. Our election season is baseball season on steroids. It never stops. It's like the Lamb Chop theme song. It just goes on and on, my friend. It's the election season that never ends. It's the election season that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends. Some people tried to stop it, saying we should get money out of politics. But the corporations said, we'll keep doing this forever just because. There you go. That was off the top of my head. Whatever. What are you going to do? All right. So that's what's going on there. Hopefully this kind of dies off so that you can criticize Pete Buttigieg and not be called a propagandist.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your